everybody. It is that time of the week, the best day of the week here in the region. It is Friday. We are just about half hours away, we could call it, a couple minutes away, we could say, from another Friday of Region Football. I'm Mike Dewan here with the Region Sports Network, coming to you live from the Centier Bank studio. This is the Tech Tailgate Show presented by our friends at Tech Credit Union. We're going to run through the games as we usually do. We got 4 here on the Region Sports Network, bumping it up for you guys. A lot of stuff to watch out for, a lot of great teams looking to bounce back. Just always some great matchups, especially as conference play as well underway. But going through it, we're going to start off with the Morton Governors looking to get their first win of the season. They're going to be hosting a team from Michigan, Bryan Center, a team that is, again, obviously a talented team up there in Michigan, but they have to do the travel. They have to face a Morton team who's hungry, looking to get their first win of the season. We always talk about here, it is a team that is as talented as they come, but can they put the wins together? Can they start gelling things as a team? A lot of new faces over there. Again, always some moving parts. Morton looking to get on the board. Going to be one to look out for as well. Moving on, the Boone Grove Wolves will be playing host to Calumet Christian. The Patriots over there from Calumet Christian. Boone Grove got a tough loss last week against Westside at their opener in the GSSC. Boone Grove, I know they're going through some injuries. I want to say their solid quarterback Mark Rowland did not suit up for Boone Grove last week, which is arguably why they lost that close game, scoring 6 points for Boone Grove. That's something they've not done. They've not scored that least amount of points seemingly in forever. An offense that is always high potent, obviously having Mark Rowland hopefully suit up for this game to bounce back there against Calumet Christian. Moving on, a Duneland matchup. Chesterton Trojans suffered a big-time loss last week. A team that was previously ranked in our home improvement top 10 came in at 9, a team that was 2-0 playing Michigan City the week prior, and they got shut out. Michigan City's defense, who we'll talk about later, they played fantastic. They shut down Chesterton 20-0, and they're looking to bounce back. They'll be traveling to LaPorte to take on the Slicers. The Slicers now 0-3. Again, still looking to find their footing in the Austin Epple era, a team that had a signature win. You look at last season, week 1 against New Prairie, a team that they beat on the final field goal of the game. And since then, that was kind of the high point so far for LaPorte this season, looking to get their first win. Again, 2 Duneland teams in this conference. You could never take a week off. Who knows who could walk away with this one? It's never an easy place to play at LaPorte. Chesterton looking to bounce back, and LaPorte looking to get on the board. East Chicago Central, the Cardinals will take on the Bowman Academy Eagles. 2 teams, again, always looking to find their culture. I seem to say this just about every week, but it's kind of, you got to take it week by week. These games, although they may be pretty minuscule in terms of obviously non-conference games for East Chicago, a win is big for the culture, and same thing could be said for Bowman Academy, a team that is looking to get the kids out there again, get the program back to maybe what it once was, and this is a game to look out for. Maybe not for this season, but for the future of the program. Build the kids' spirits up as well as the coaches who are still trying to learn the culture as well within these 2 programs. The Hammond Central Wolves will once again be on the road. To my knowledge, this is their 4th consecutive road game to open up the season. They'll be taking a trip down south to Indianapolis Shortridge, taking on the Blue Devils. Hammond Central opened up. They had the lead against one of our highly rated teams in the Griffith Panthers, but Griffith came back storming and got the win there. Hammond Central still a quality team. Adam Hudak, again, a lot of kids they have some pieces there. They might be playing second fiddle in that city, but they don't see it that way. They want to try, and this is a program that is still building, still in its infancy, and again, a game where maybe it not have many implications for the conference schedule. Obviously, this is a non-conference game, but this is a team that, again, they're pretty young in terms of the program itself. A win here for Hammond Central, again, could spark that culture, get the kids out there, and eventually rewrite the ship and rewrite history there for Hammond Central. So a game to look out for as well, as they'll take the trip down to Indianapolis to take on the Blue Devils. Our newly 2nd-rated Hanover Central Wildcats, after their big win against Highland last week and some teams in front of them losing, they move up to the 2nd spot in our home improvement top 10. They'll be taking on the Lowell Red Devils, who are playing their first home game of the season. Lowell has a new turf field, believe it or not, at the Inferno, a field that was, I never thought they'd turn to turf, but that's kind of the way things are rolling right now. And Lowell, they're going to be opening up their new digs against a team that is competitive as they come, a team that is arguably the NCC favorite. Lowell looking to open up their home field with a win, but Hanover Central, they are as talented as they come. They prove us wrong just about every year. Any doubts you may have about them, they're trying to shut those down. So that's going to be a game to look out for. Lowell, again, a staple in this NCC, but we kind of said the same thing last year when Lowell traveled to Hanover Central. Hanover ran away with that one, and they're looking to do that again today. But a game to look out for. Lowell opening up again, partially their new field, but still a tough place to play in the Inferno. The Highland Trojans, another NCC team, will be doing battle with the Calumet Warriors. Highland looking to bounce back, as well as Calumet. Again, the Charles Salary era of Calumet. Two teams looking to kind of be on the come up. Maybe not this year, but for years to come. Another game that could shape the culture, be a big win, boost for morale for some coaches, for some players, and hopefully spark something for the future of these two programs. Going to be a big one there to look out for. Moving down the list, Lake Station will also be traveling down south. They will be doing battle with Indianapolis, Washington. Again, a non-conference game. Obviously, as we see there, Lake Station venturing out, going down south, wishing them the best of travels, and more importantly, a good result coming from that game. A top 10 matchup in the Duneland here. We got our number 3rd ranked Maryville Pirates, a team that suffered a tough loss last week to Crown Point, who's just about dominated everybody they faced here in the region. Portage just hanging on by a thread in our home improvement top 10. They also suffered a loss last week to their fellow classmates and the fellow Indians here in the region. They lost to Lake Central in a nail-biter over there at Portage. Portage coming in at 10, still staying on our list. Looking at two teams that are looking to bounce back nonetheless, too. Maryville was these are two losses that are much different from each other. Maryville, a game that they hung in the first quarter, and after a rough second quarter against Crown Point, things slipped away from them very, very quickly. They're looking to rewrite the ship. Still a very talented team. We're expected for a long playoff run and to be competitive here in the Duneland. But Portage, this was a game, again, against Lake Central last week, 23-21, a game that they, again, led at one point, a couple turnovers. If things go a different way, Portage could be sitting at 3-0 right now, but that's a lot of big ifs. Whatever, they're going to flush that. Roy Richards, they're going to have their guys right. Portage, they only lost to this Maryville team by 10 last year at Maryville. Now the game being at Portage, this could be a different story. Two teams looking to bounce back. We're going to keep an eye on that one because although we look at Maryville and see what they've done against conference opponents besides Crown Point, Portage, they're a team that only lost by 10 last year, and this is a different team to say the least, as well as playing at home. This is expected to be potentially a close one here. Going to be a top 10 matchup. We're excited to look at that one. How's that going to shape out the conference, at least maybe in that upper to middle levels? Moving on to our final 3 games not covered by us here at the Region Sports Network. The Munster Mustangs will travel to our now 5th-ranked Andrean 59ers, an NCC matchup. Andreans had their way with Munster for as long as I can remember, and Andrean, a big win last week against Kankakee Valley, now gets to go back home, play a Munster team still looking to get their first win of the season, another rebuilding program. Andrean, one of our biggest movers, I'd like to say, in our list. They're going to be excited to see Jimmy Finley's one of my favorite players to watch here in the region. Their quarterback, Brady Ellish, who's only a junior. He's only getting better in a young defense in Andrean. We're expecting big things from Andrean come conference play, and they get kind of some tune-up games out of the way. KV, I wouldn't call that maybe a tune-up game last week, but they look fantastic. Got out to a 28-0 lead and did their damage over there at Kankakee Valley. Now going to do battle with Munster. Moving on, a GSSC game, arguably one of the better GSSC games of the week. The River Forest Ingots, who suffered their first loss of the season to the Wheeler Bearcats, a game we did on the Region Sports Network, but River Forest now traveling to our now 7th-rated Westside Cougars. Westside off to their best start record-wise since 2004. 20 years ago, a lot of great things happening at that program. Westside highlighted by Giuseppe Moore, a quarterback that is talented with his arm, but he mainly does his damage with his legs. Had over 200 rushing yards last week. I mentioned that 6-8 victory they had over Boone Grove. Westside did not complete a pass in that game. They ran the ball, only attempted 7 passes, but Giuseppe Moore had over 220 rushing yards. He's an absolute threat. Also had that lone touchdown. A lot of guys going 2 ways for Westside. Same can be said about River Forest. This is a matchup of 2 very good quarterbacks in the rushing game. Could do it with their legs. Aiden Silver of River Forest, who got bottled up a little bit last week against Wheeler. He's going to be looking for a bounce-back game as well as this entire River Forest squad. Playing a game at West Side is not easy. That's going to be a game to look out for. Big GSSC, I should say, added an extra S in there, but big implications within that conference. A game that I believe River Forest lost last year closely. Don't quote me on that. I'm trying to remember. I believe West Side won that game last year, looking to follow suit, but nonetheless, that's going to be a fantastic game between those two squads in the GSSC. Another GSSC game to round out our non-covered games. The Whiting Oilers will take on our now 6th-rated Griffith Panthers. Hard to believe. Our first 3-0 start for Griffith since the Russ Radke era. 2006 was the last year that Griffith started out 3-0. Again, when Griffith's playing well, a lot can be said about how their fans are going to turn out and the state of region football. You could look at their competition, whatever, maybe say it's not what it used to be, but nonetheless, to see Griffith at 3-0, to see what Phil Mason is doing over there, and to see a team that was, again, a very young team, not many seniors, and now they're growing up. They're playing some good football over there at Griffith. They're going to be at the Boneyard taking on Whiting, a team that is, again, first year in the John Jolly era, a coach over there at Whiting. Should be a fun one, but Griffith, they've been playing some great football as of late. They trailed, believe it or not, last week against Hammond Central, then put up 28 straight. Their defense has only given up 7 points all year. Griffith is rolling, and we may expect that again, but Whiting, we know they're going to give them a fight nonetheless. Moving on to our 4 games we are covering here at the Region Sports Network. We're going to start it off with a GSSC matchup. The Bishop Knoll Warriors will take on now our 8th-rated Wheeler Bearcats. That game will be at Wheeler. That game will also hopefully be video broadcast here with obviously some audio as well, of course, but that's going to be a fun one. Bishop Knoll is a team that is always on the come-up, a team that just broke in their new facility last week. Although they suffered a loss against Whiting, they have a lot of quality players on that team. Numbers are always seemingly growing. A program that did not have a football program for, I want to say, about half a decade ago, and obviously a lot has changed there internally with that program and the culture. Coach Tyler Milby of Bishop Knoll is doing a fine job over there. Maybe, again, they're still trying to build the culture and get the players out there, but nonetheless, this is a program that could not say that they'd be in this position where they, again, maybe as little as 5 years ago. So kudos to Bishop Knoll, but Wheeler getting their first win of the season last week. Again, we did that game against River Forest on the Region Sports Network. Wheeler now coming in at 8 in our Enigenberg home improvement top 10, a team that has kind of flirted with that position, we could say, but now getting that big win last week, they showed us their full potential to play a solid 4 quarters, a team that protected the football a little bit more than they did in the previous few games they had. This is a team that we're expected to compete for a GSSC title once again, and having the reigning coach of the year on your sideline, and Nick Testa is a big plus, and they got a lot of quality players, some playing both ways, but Caleb Klimzak, their quarterback, showed a lot of poise, especially in that second half against River Forest, and then Jaden Ortiz is a fantastic running back / linebacker. Bryce Compton does it all for those guys. Tyne Vetical as well. Mitch Krolikowski. They have guys on guys over there. It is a loaded roster. They got a lot of guys, again, playing both ways that kind of serve as 2 players, but they got the right guys in the position. Nick Testa has that program doing some good things, but a fun one nonetheless to have on the Region Sports Network. Again, you can find that here coming up shortly as kickoff approaches us very, very soon. Moving on to Ames Field. We have our 4th-rated Valparaiso Vikings, still sticking in that same spot. I know that might be a little bit of a head-scratcher to keep them at the 4 spot, but if they could prove us, again, against a team like Michigan City, who's coming off a big win last week, who knows, that home improvement top 10 could see some shuffling at the top half of that top 10. But Valparaiso has done some damage over a game and a half, I'd like to say. Obviously, after that heartbreaker against Penn in the week 1, and then the first half against Andrean, a lot of questions arose at this Valparaiso Vikings team, but after a huge comeback, who arguably maybe changed the season outlook for Valparaiso, a 28-point outburst to lead the big comeback against Andrean, and then a great game last week against LaPorte. I believe that was 42-7. This defense is only growing up, and this offense just seems to keep putting points up on the board. With Michigan City, they might be their biggest test yet. Michigan City, again, playing at Ames Field. That's not easy to do in Michigan City, a defense specifically that shut out a quality Chesterton lineup, a team that runs the ball. They have over 300-yard rushers over there at Chesterton, and Michigan City did a great job at bottling them up. That's going to be a big matchup, I say, between the game is Michigan City's defense, who's playing well as of late. I want to say they've only given up about 30-40 points so far through their first 3 games, and they played Warsaw, Lafayette, Jefferson, and obviously Chesterton a week ago. And Valparaiso, who's all they've done is score points. Their least amount of points they've scored in a game is 28. So I'd like to say that is the X factor going into that game. But we're going to have video for that coming to you live from Ames Field. Michael Bradner will be on the call along with Andrew Mild, 2 of the best in the business. We're going to have a lot of fun over there at Ames Field. Always a fun place to see a game, and we're always thankful, again, to be out there at Michigan City, as well as all these other schools that are letting us do what we do. Going on to our final 2 games here on the Region Sports Network. We'll come to you live from the Brickyard as an NCC matchup between the KV Cougars taking on the Hobart Brickies. KV, as I mentioned, suffered a pretty disappointing loss, I'd say, to Andrean, a game with top 10 implications and a lot to ride on to open up the NCC, but KV fell behind in the scoreboard pretty early and never really recovered. Marco Castro, still the name to look out for, had the worst game of his season to his standards, which is still a 90-yard game he had. Andrean, credit to them that did a fantastic job against him, but still had 90 yards on the ground. KV looking to bounce back against a team that got their first win of their new head coach's era. That's Eric Schreiber Jr. of the Hobart Brickies. They got a big win against Munster. Willie Shear had a big time. He was one of our electrifying plays of the week on that first drive. I want to say the first set of downs, had a 70-plus yard touchdown reception. Great to have a player like that, and it's going to be kind of that running back battle, I like to say, in the NCC, this time between Marco Castro and now Willie Shear, who was finally suiting up for the Hobart Brickies, an offense that was struggling to put points up on the board, now puts up 30 against a Munster team that's still rebuilding, but it's a big confidence booster for both Eric Schreiber Jr. and his players on the field, an offense that is young at the quarterback position as well as all across the board, but getting a guy like Willie Shear back, that's going to be a dynamic to watch out for in this game. We're going to have live video from that as well as some great guys on the call, Leo Stardiker and Mike Jamia coming to you live from the Brickyard. That'll be up here shortly as well. Always a pleasure to cover some games over there at Hobart. Always, no matter what the record is, it's always a fun place to watch a football game, let alone call one. So we're excited for that one. 2 solid teams looking to kind of bounce back for KV and Hobart, looking to keep that trend going. Now they're 1-0 in the conference, and although it's a 1-2 start, that's maybe not to Hobart standards. All that really matters now is the conference record, and this is going to have a lot of implications for both teams' futures within the NCC. And finally, moving on to our final game here on the Region Sports Network, a top 10 matchup we have coming to you live from Crown Point High School. We'll only have audio for that one. That'll be an audio radio broadcast we'll have for that. That'll be Jay Simmons and Mike Zajac on the call, 2 of the best in the business as well. That's going to be the Lake Central Indians going to Crown Point to take on the Crown Point Bulldogs. Lake Central, one of the bigger movers as well as our home improvement top 10. They were a bubble team last week. After that nail-biting victory against Portage, we've got to give them the slight edge, give them that 9 spot, and they've been playing some good football as of late. After opening up against Munster, a team that they've had success with, they go up to Michigan and hold their own against Grand Rapids Central Catholic, a team that is a kind of a state powerhouse up there, and they did a great job. And then to come back, play another game on the road, go back on a bus, play Portage, and beat a team that gotten off to their first 2-0 start since 2008. We got to give kudos to Pete Koulianos and his guys over there, but they're going to have their hands full against a Crown Point team that is coming off another solid win against Maryville, who's highly regarded in the Class 5A. Just use a quarter to their advantage. I mean, the second quarter, just like that, it was I believe Maryville was actually leading in the game, and Crown Point, they just ran away with it. Trevor Gibbs had the game of his life. He's just a fantastic player who does it all for that team, and he is just one name in a list of many on that Crown Point roster that seems to perform week in, week out. This is a team that they're loaded. They're loaded, and whatever team goes up against them, they're going to have their hands full. And who knows? That may be the case tonight. Pete Koulianos, again, as he always seems to do, he's going to have his guys right. He knows this is a rivalry game, a top 10 matchup. There's going to be a lot there for Crown Point. A lot of players that are familiar with each other. The schools that are both familiar with each other. A lot of emotions are going to be flying high. And again, Pete Koulianos is a guy you want on your sideline. But Crown Point, they are simply becoming the standard here in region football. If they are not, if they aren't already, I should say. They've got it all clicking on all cylinders right now, and this could be another chapter into what has been a fantastic stretch for the Crown Point Bulldogs. Again, that'll be an audio broadcast coming to you live from Crown Point High School. Again, Jay Simmons and Mike Zajac on the call. But again, 4 games we're covering here on the Region Sports Network. Again, to recap, that is our 4th-rated Valparaiso Vikings traveling to Ames Field to take on the Michigan City Wolves. That'll be a video broadcast. Again, Andrew Mild, Michael Bradner on the call there from Ames Field. A GSSC matchup, Bishop Knoll will be taking on our 8th-rated Wheeler Bearcats. That'll be that'll also be a video broadcast, the GSSC matchup. Our final 2 games, an NCC matchup, the KV Cougars taking on the Hobart Brickies. That'll be a video broadcast coming to you live from the Brickyard. Again, Leo Stoudeker and Mike Jamia on the call. And finally, a top 10 matchup from Crown Point, as I mentioned. Again, Lake Central and Crown Point. That'll be Jay Simmons and the great Mike Zajac. But that is all I got for you for the Tech Tailgate show presented by Tech Credit Union. Again, same thing last week. If you missed any of that content we had in the first section, this will be played on loop. No, I am not talking again. We're just going to keep looping this. Again, play a couple ads. We'll take a quick break here, but if in case you missed any of that content, no need to kind of skip back and rewatch. It's going to run up until game time, and before you know it, just like that, we're going to kick off with some Week 4 action. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you missed any of that content, just stick around. We'll play a couple ads, then we'll be right back here from the top. But thank you guys all for tuning in and coming to you live from the Centier Bank studio. This was a Tech Tailgate show presented by Tech Credit Union. I'm Mike DeWan here at the Region Sports Network. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Again, catch all those 4 games, as well as our hometown scoreboard presented by Strachan Van Til, which is going to cycle through all the scores throughout the night, up-to-date updates. Again, that's going to be from our guy Skibbs here in the studio, doing his thing, watching all the games, getting all those updates. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Let's enjoy this Friday night. Let's have a lot of fun here as we tend to do here on the Region Sports Network. We're happy to be the only game in town. But again, I'm Mike DeWan. Zach Miller's producing this show. This has been the Tech Tailgate show presented by Tech Credit Union on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strachan Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strachan Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strachanvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. And now I've returned to rescue you from high prices. Whether you have a perfect driving record or a not-so-perfect record. Follow me to the Crowell Agency for immediate and affordable coverage. I'm your insurance superhero. Crowell Company's insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Can't wait for summer, but dreading the heat because your old AC let you down? Don't sweat it out this summer. Call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling. The professionals there can fix you up. Install a central air unit that'll last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable. And with a 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Give them a call at 219-923-4441 or check them out on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com.
Save for a healthy tomorrow with an HSA checking account from Tech Credit Union. It's a tax-advantaged way to save and pay for healthcare expenses. You'll enjoy no setup fee, no annual fee, and easy access to funds. Plus, you'll earn a better-than-competitive dividend rate, currently at 2.27% APY. Visit techcu.org, contact any branch, or call 800-276-8324 to learn more. Tech Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. Rates may change without notice.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Flip the switch, a light turns on. Press the button, machines and instruments come to life. Touch the screen, communicate with the world. Simple tasks, guaranteed results, every second of every day. That's the power of power. And that's the power brought to you by the NECA contractors and electrical workers of Local 531.
We love home internet from T-Mobile. Oh, now Mesh boosts Wi-Fi all over your home. Taking a class in your attic, that dead spot is gone. Stream ballet in your man cave, learn to paint on your lawn.
He's glorious.
And now on the road, you can take T-Mobile Wi-Fi with you. Hey, stay connected and watch what you'll do.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Better Beef of Indiana. Hormone-free, locally raised, and locally processed beef. Better Beef of Indiana is located in Valpo at 2600 Beach Street, where you could buy individual cuts of beef completely raised in Hebron. From single pounds of ground beef to filet mignon, Better Beef of Indiana has it all. Visit their website at betterbeefindiana.com. Follow them on Facebook or call the owner, Kevin, directly at 219-508-5797. Better Beef of Indiana, where quality meets value.